Alrighty, welcome guys to another episode of the Tripod. This week we will be breaking down round 17, which obviously just finished then. It's a late one today, I know, but that's what happens when you have a 6 p.m. game on Sunday night. What's new, I guess, another winning week, so that gives us 5 winning weekends in a row on the NRL and a raft of bad refereeing decisions. But that happens, seems to happen every single week now, but it's almost become part of the game. So very, very strange. But like I said, another winning week, 12 wins, 9 losses. So not a huge winning week, but that's 57%, which is still getting it done, that's for sure. Let's go through what we just saw. We just saw the Raiders absolutely obliterate the Dragons 36-14. I only had the one best bet on the game. It obviously did get up Dragons to score less than 18.5 points. The Raiders, they are dead set a juggernaut. I said this at the start of the season. I was really high on the Raiders coming into the season, and they honestly have been probably the most consistent performing team throughout the season. And I do think that they are playing like a top 4 team at the moment. And the Dragons, man, they're just bad. They just seem to not have any chemistry in attack. And this Raiders side is just very, very solid. And I mean, I know they let in 14 points, but this could have been a bagel, to be honest. The Dragons were sitting on 0 points late, scored a couple of late tries, obviously 3-1 pretty much at the siren there as well. But the Dragons are really, really struggling, and the Raiders are just on the up and up. Kind of regret that I didn't have more plays on the Raiders. I did want to. This line opened up Raiders plus 2.5, which was just a crazy line. I wanted to give it out, and then of course, like an hour or two before I did the Wednesday pod, this line plummeted down to pick 'em. And the Raiders started, I think, 1.5, 2-point favourites, which was, once again, the late move is the correct move, and the people were on the Raiders, and they did get the job done. Let's backtrack to Friday. Panthers beat the Titans 24-2. Pretty much the result that we were expecting, I guess. We had 2 best bets on the game, won both of them. I really just think this Titans team has given up on the season now. And I mentioned this, coming off a bye and your season's over, or that didn't happen with a couple of teams like the Bulldogs and stuff. But this Panthers team, I said this, a couple weeks back, if you guys want to have a smoky on the premiership, this team can play as good as anyone. I'm on the Panthers, and so is Jacob, to win the premiership at $34. And I really think, what's that, 6 wins on the trot now for them. When they play their best footy, they can hang with the best of them. But yeah, in regards to the Titans, I really do think their season's done, and they're going to be looking to the future now. So it's going to be in very rare spots that I'm going to want to take the Titans moving forward. Next up, very surprising result. I did not expect this. The Bulldogs beating the Knights 20-14. Man, if you're the Knights, you've got to be absolutely kicking yourself. Like, you have a chance to, you have a good team. You've been playing well. You get to play the bottom of the table Bulldogs at home, and you fucking are up 8-0 late, and then you let in 4 late tries. Absolutely diabolical performance by the Knights. Just so bad. You're up 8, there's 25 minutes left, and you proceed to let in 3 tries in 13 minutes. Really bad loss for the Knights, and that might come back to haunt them come the end of the season. You absolutely have to take care of business at home against the worst team in the comp. And this is one that I did not see coming. I mean, the Bulldogs were pretty shit for 60 minutes, and then they just piled it on. And, it's not what I expected with a shit team coming off the bye. I really thought that the Bulldogs would be one of those teams where, they'd just given up on the season. But they showed some grit there, that's for sure. Moving on to the Rabbitohs beating Manly 21-20. This was a cracker of a game, actually. We liked Manly. Had 3 bets on the game, only won 2 of them. But it was a bit disappointing, obviously, with Tommy Turbo getting ruled out the day of. I do the pod on Wednesday and then release all the best bets on Thursday if there's any additional ones. And of course, Tommy Turbo gets ruled out the day of. So we can't backtrack on that. I know Sam Burgess obviously got ruled out as well, but I do think that losing Tommy Turbo is a bigger loss than losing Sam Burgess. And, the line stayed at about 4.5, which kind of makes me think that we're on the right side here. Because, like I said, I think Tommy Turbo's worth more than Sam Burgess in a point spread, but the line didn't move with both of those players out. Once again, I guess we were on the right side this time of a bad refereeing decision on Manly's first try, which was a clear knock on. But we'll take it. I mean, we have had I reckon, some of the worst luck in terms of refereeing decisions and just unlucky shit happening to us. So that was certainly one bad refereeing decision that was in our favour. And just another game with, a botched call. It's just almost happens every second game now. I don't understand how they can't get this shit right. Anyway, next up, our first draw of the season, Broncos against the Warriors, 18-all. We were on the Warriors in this one. Just thought that, at the line of 4.5, I kind of said in the pod, I understand that Suncorp Stadium, has a very strong home field advantage. But I really do think at the moment that this Warriors team is probably better than this Broncos team. And really, they should have gone on to win this game. You're up 16-6 relatively late. You have chances to score, late in regular time. You had chances to score in extra time. But yeah, the Broncos hung tough. And honestly, it's positive signs for the Broncos. I know that I said their season's over, and I really do think it is. I don't think they're making the 8. But there are some positives to take out of this Broncos draw with the Warriors. I think, that you have a bunch of young forwards that are really stepping up. And I know a lot of people were saying at the start of the season that this Broncos forward pack should be the best in the comp. They haven't played like it. But, in this game against the Warriors, Payne Haas scored a try and he was very good. David Fafita scored a try. He was also very good. So you have some promising young forwards that you can build around there. You just need to figure out the halves. We do, the Broncos, that's for sure. Next up, a game that I was very wrong on. Well, I mean, you look at the scoreline and I guess you say that I was very wrong on that. It was the Storm beating the Sharkies 40-16. We lost every bet we put on the game, obviously. But, I mean, the scoreline looks very bad. And, I'll put my hand up and say, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have been on the Sharks here. But, when you're 18-16 down and there's 20 minutes left, you love every single bet that you have. You love Sharks plus 12.5. And then the Storm proceed to fucking score 4 tries in 19 minutes and just blow the Sharks out of the water. But I really thought the tide was turning. The Sharks came back. They scored 2 tries to get within 2 points. And then just fucking fell apart. And when this Storm side is rolling, it's very, very tough. And the issue is, when you have a big point spread like that, plus 12.5, once a team gets down maybe 14 or 16 points late, sometimes they just kind of roll over, which is what we had here with the Sharkies. But if you ask me again, to be in that position with plus 12.5, at 18-16, the game looks like it's going to turn into a grind. The Sharkies have scored the last couple of tries. I'd probably, still take that bet. And, we had a couple of issues, obviously, before the game with another player on a team that we backed getting scratched, Matt Moylan getting scratched before game time. I know that he's been pretty up and down this year, but obviously if I'm betting on the Sharks, I would rather have him in the team. But yeah, another good win for the Storm, and they just keep rolling. And then what was a very surprising result for me was the Cowboys beating the Roosters 15 points to 12. I didn't have a bet on this game. I said that, the line was up towards double digits, and gun to my head, I probably would have taken the Roosters, maybe if it was 9.5 or something. I did think, and lucky I didn't, very, very good showing by the Cowboys. Very strange too, because like I said, I really don't like taking teams that are kind of out of it and they've just had the bye and they're coming off a loss the week before the bye. Usually, that they come out pretty flat, especially, away to the Roosters, who can be an absolute juggernaut. But they really, really missed Tedesco. You could see it. They were floundering in attack. They looked flat, honestly. From the first whistle, they really looked flat. No urgency in the Roosters' play. I think they were kind of just chilling, thought that they could get an easy win here. But they really missed Teddy. You could see it. Fifth tackle options I thought were pretty average from both Keary and Cronk, and that really hurt them. But on this Cowboys side, wow, very, very good win for them. And maybe this is just the boost they need to actually believe that there's still a chance of making the 8 here. I thought that, they'd come out of this bye week losing 3 on the trot and just say our season's done. But this may be the boost that they need. And then next up, we had the Eels beating the Tigers 30-18. Had 3 bets on the game, won 2 of them, and then pushed the other one. I guess you could say we got lucky and unlucky to push the Eels to win the second half bet. Obviously, they were winning the second half, and then the Tigers score a late try, and Mbai curls it in from the sideline, and that made the Tigers have a 2-point lead in the second half. And I guess we got kind of lucky to push it with a late Eels penalty goal. But like I mentioned, I do think that this Eels side is better than this Tigers team. Some people were kind of worried about, Benji's milestone game, same as like Cam Smith's milestone game in the previously in the week. I look into that stuff a bit, but most of the time it's very negligible. I guess you get a little bit of bump in motivation, but at the end of the day, the better team's going to win. And I do think that this Eels team is better than this Tigers team. And I kind of said that, although the Tigers were at home, the Eels would probably have more fans there. And I think that they did. And once again, I think the Eels deserve to win. And once again, bad reffing. It seems to happen almost every single game without a doubt. But this one was not only against the Eels, it was also against the Tigers. I mean, both teams had tries awarded that shouldn't have been tries, fairly clearly shouldn't have been tries. And there's one where they don't even go upstairs for the clear forward pass by the Tigers there down the left wing, which is, very, very strange. Some of the stuff that they go upstairs for is like, pretty clearly like 99% a try. And then you don't go upstairs for something like that where you can clearly see that there's something that's pretty dodgy going on there. And I think that they probably just didn't want to send it upstairs because they'd see that it's a clear forward pass and they can't rule on it, and that looks stupid. So, once again, very, very strange reffing, but I don't know. They need to do something to fix it, honestly. And I get that, like, sometimes it's like against our team, sometimes it's not. But it really is like a blight on the game. They need to fucking sort this out. Okay, that's it. That'll do it for round 17. Another winning week. I know it wasn't a great week, but 12-9, you'll take that every day of the week, 57%. That's still making money. We will see you guys on Wednesday, 6 p.m. for a round 18 recap. And then I think Jacob will be back in about a week and a half, so he'll be joining me then. But you're stuck with me for a few more pods. But we have been winning 5 on the trot now, and we won money on every Origin game. So hopefully we can keep it up. See you in the app. Obviously, download the Tripod app. See you in the group, Tripod Punters Tips Forum. There's a link in the description to this video. And if you guys like what we do, flick us a review on either on the app or for our podcast or whatever. That would be greatly appreciated. But we'll catch you guys on Wednesday at 6 p.m. See you then.